Hello and welcome. You're with the latest here on Express News. I'm Gautam Roy, and first up, let's get you our top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired the all-party meeting on COVID-19. Delivering his closing remarks, Prime Minister Modi said that India's vaccination would begin as soon as we get a go-ahead from scientists. The PM said that after the rollout of the vaccine, healthcare workers, frontline workers and old people suffering from serious conditions would be provided vaccination in the first phase. The PM also said that a special software has also been developed for vaccine stock and real-time information. The PM said that India has fought COVID-19 much better than other developed countries and saved lives of its citizens. He also said that the world is watching India for the cheapest and safe vaccine option. Prime Minister Modi will deliver a keynote address today at the IIT 2020 Global Summit organized by Pan IIT USA. The theme of this year's summit is "The Future is Now." The summit will focus on issues like global economy, technology, innovation, health, habitat conservation and universal education. Union Minister for Road, Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari laid the foundation stone for 14 NH projects and inaugurated one NH project of 270 kilometers worth 4,127 crore rupees in Nagaland. Gadkari said that almost all the districts in Nagaland have been connected to national highways. Central Pollution Control Board has issued direction to the Delhi government to take corrective measures to mitigate the menace of pollution. Addressing media on the directions given by the Delhi government, Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar said that air quality levels in the national capital continue to remain in the poor category. Navy Day is being observed today to recognize the achievements and role of the Indian Navy in safeguarding the country. Naval Chief Admiral Karambir Singh paid tributes to martyrs at the National War Memorial in Delhi on the occasion. Prime Minister Modi extended greetings on the occasion of Navy Day. In a tweet, he said, and I quote, "The Indian Navy fearlessly protects our coasts and also renders humanitarian assistance in times of need. We also remember India's rich maritime tradition over centuries." Defence Minister Rajnath Singh addressed the Armed Forces Flag Day CSR webinar organised by Kendriya Sainik Board. Rajnath Singh hailed the armed forces for their contribution in protecting the border and successfully countering terror threats. The Canadian High Commissioner was summoned to the Ministry of External Affairs today and informed that comments by the Canadian Prime Minister, some cabinet ministers and members of Parliament on issues related to Indian farmers constitute an unacceptable interference in India's internal affairs. BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda kick-started his 120-day nationwide tour from Uttarakhand, where he will stay for 4 days. Nadda will hold more than a dozen meetings besides participating in various booth-level and division-level programs. He'll also hold several review meetings with party cadres. Union Minister Piyush Goyal said that from the 7th of December, railways will extend non-peak hours of Chennai suburban services. Since women passengers are permitted to travel in non-peak hours, this will effectively increase their convenience. He added that to prevent crowding, 76 more services are being added, taking the total to 320. Heavy rains in Tamil Nadu today led to inundation of crops and waterlogging in many areas, even as a deep depression over the Gulf of Mannar remained stationary about 40 kilometers southwest of Ramanathapuram. Lakshadweep Administrator DINESHWAR Sharma passed away today. In 2017, DINESHWAR Sharma was appointed an interlocutor for Jammu and Kashmir. A Kerala cadre IPS officer, Sharma joined the Indian Police Service in 1979. Prime Minister Modi paid tributes to DINESHWAR Sharma. The PM said, and I quote, that the administrator of Lakshadweep, DINESHWAR Sharma ji, made long-lasting contributions to India's policing and security apparatus. He handled many sensitive counter-terror and insurgency operations during his policing career. Anguished by his demise, condolences to his family. Om Shanti. The birth anniversary of former President of India, R. Venkataraman, is being celebrated today. President Kovind paid rich tributes to former President of India, R. Venkataraman, at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Venkataraman served as President from 1987 to 1992. Vice President M. Naidu paid tributes to the late Prime Minister at IK GUJRAL while releasing through virtual mode a commemorative postage stamp in his honour. The Vice President said that GUJRAL never compromised on its values irrespective of the challenges or hardships he faced. In Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, polling for the third phase of District Development Council concluded peacefully. Voting took place in 33 DDC constituencies in this phase. By 1 p.m, overall 40.03% votes had been cast in the Union Territories. Counting of votes in the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Council elections was held amid elaborate security arrangements today. The results will be known later in the evening since ballot papers were used in these polls. The Reserve Bank of India has voted unanimously to keep key interest rates unchanged while keeping an accommodative stance. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said that according to the decision of the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee, the policy repo rate will stay at 4%. Also, the reverse repo rate will continue to be 3.35%. The RBI Governor also said that the real GDP growth of 2021 is projected at -7.5%. He added that the recovery in rural demand is expected to strengthen further, while urban demand is also going to gain momentum. RBI Governor stressed that GDP growth will turn positive in third quarter of this fiscal. In response to RBI's decision of keeping policy rates unchanged, BSE SENSEX closed high to cross 45,000 mark for the first time to close at 45,079.55. NIFTY stocks also gained by 124.65 points to close at 13,258.55. Rupee depreciated against the US dollar today by 14 paise to settle at 73.72. Gold prices dipped down today by 70 rupees to reach 49,232 rupees per 10 grams. While silver also rose to settle now at 63,962 rupees per kg. Crude oil prices also jumped by 32 points to reach 3,422 rupees per barrel. Now, India's active COVID-19 caseload has fallen to 4.35% mark today from 4.44% yesterday. Continuing with the trend of the last 7 days, India has reported more daily recoveries than the daily new cases during the last 24 hours. The trend of more daily recoveries than the daily cases has led to a continuous contraction of India's active caseload, which presently stands at 4,16,082. While 36,595 persons in India were found to be infected with COVID, 42,916 new recoveries were registered yesterday. The difference of 6,321 between new recoveries and new cases has led to a net decline of 6,861 cases from the total active caseload in the last 24 hours. India still continues to have one of the lowest cases per million population in the world at 6,936, much lower than many other countries in the Western Hemisphere. The recovery rate has improved to 94.2% today. The total recovered cases stand at 90,16,289. The gap between recovered cases and active cases is steadily increasing and presently stands at 86,207. 80.19% of the new recovered cases are contributed by 10 states and union territories. Maharashtra leads with 8,066 persons recovering from COVID, while Kerala recorded 5,590 recoveries. Delhi registered another 4,834 daily recoveries. While 540 case fatalities that have been reported in the past 24 hours as well, 77.78% of them have come from 10 states and union territories. 21.29% of the new fatalities have been reported from Maharashtra, which reported 115 deaths. Delhi also saw a fatality count of 82, while West Bengal reported 49 new deaths. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, total number of samples tested so far up to the 3rd of December is 14,47,27,749. Out of this, 11,70,102 samples were tested yesterday. As of now, more than 6,56 lakh coronavirus cases have been reported worldwide, with over 15,13,000 deaths. Over 4,54 lakh people have recovered from the virus so far worldwide. The US continues to remain on top of the list among worst hit countries by the pandemic so far, with the highest number of infections as well as deaths. The United Nations General Assembly is holding a high-level special session starting on Thursday, calling for solidarity and cooperation among member states in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. Members stood and observed a minute of silence for all victims of COVID-19 pandemic at the opening. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned countries which rejected the facts about the coronavirus pandemic and ignored guidance from the WHO. Britain has announced to pay individuals who suffer any severe side effects from COVID-19 vaccine ahead of the rollout of Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine in the country. COVID-19 will be added as a precautionary step to the list of diseases covered for potential liabilities under the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme. Individuals are entitled to a lump sum capped at £1.2 lakh if they can prove to have been seriously disabled as a result of the vaccination. Pharmaceutical giant Moderna Inc. has said that it expects to have between 100 million and 125 million doses of its experimental COVID-19 vaccine available globally in the first quarter of 2021. Moderna said 85 to 100 million of those doses will be available in the US, while 15 to 25 million will be available outside the country. France has announced free COVID-19 vaccination for all who are in its social security system. Prime Minister Castex said that over 1.5 billion euros will be spent on the procedures. The French inoculation program will be staggered over 3 categories of people. The country has ordered over 200 million doses from different pharmaceutical companies to inoculate 100 million people. Along with this, COVID-19 vaccination will be voluntary in all of France. Portugal has also announced plans to vaccinate people against the coronavirus voluntarily and free of charge, and said it hoped to inoculate nearly 10% of the population during the first phase that will start next month. Again in Portugal, the first phase has been aimed to be completed between January and February. Shots will be administered at 1,200 vaccination points at health centers across the country. The United States has imposed tighter visa regulations for Chinese Communist Party members in a move to limit US travel for tens of millions of Chinese working in government and other prominent roles. Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has said that Bangladesh cannot forget the atrocities committed by Pakistan in 1971. In Armenia, hundreds of protesters blocked streets in the capital Yerevan late on Thursday and called for the resignation of Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan over a ceasefire deal. Earlier on Thursday, a coalition of 17 opposition parties named former Premier Vazgen Manukyan as a potential caretaker Prime Minister to replace Pashinyan until snap parliamentary elections are held. In the UK, at least 4 people were killed when a chemical tank exploded at a wastewater treatment plant near Bristol in Western England. French President Emmanuel Macron has declared a national day of mourning on the 9th of December to mourn the passing of former President Valéry Giscard d'Estaing. US President Donald Trump wished Americans a Merry Christmas during the 98th National Christmas Tree Lighting Ceremony at the White House. The First Lady, Melania Trump, pushed a button to illuminate the tree. A festive program to mark the grand age of the Royal Albert Hall has been revealed. The hall will turn 150 next year. Ichiha and Popo are 2 red pandas who have become the novelty of Chilean Zoo, hosting them as part of a conservation project for their endangered species. England has installed over 1,000 lanterns across its gardens as winter draws in, one country house which delighted its visitors with annual winter light show. This year, the designs of the lanterns were inspired by workings of nature, such as the spores of plants settling and the work of fungi and enriching the landscape. 2 giant pandas welcomed frost in their enclosure in Moscow Zoo by showing their reactions to the ice crust blanket. The pair were handed over to Moscow Zoo by China at a ceremony with Russian President Vladimir Putin in April. In Tokyo, a diver dressed as Santa Claus made an appearance at an aquarium as part of the facility's celebration to welcome the holiday season. He put on an underwater show by skillfully swimming in a tank. Sports now, in India beat Australia by 11 runs in the first match of the T20 series. Now they lead the three-match series 1-0. Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju said that para-athletes are the strength and inspiration of the country, and the present government treats them at par with other sports persons. The Sports Minister made the statement during a virtual session on the occasion of the 29th World Disability Day in the presence of Paralympic Committee of India President Deepa Malik and top para-athletes. 24 Indian wrestlers will take part in Individual Wrestling World Cup from the 12th of December. A contingent of 42 members will be travelling to Belgrade in Serbia to represent the country. This will be the first international competition that Indian wrestlers will be participating in after the nationwide lockdown was imposed in March due to the coronavirus pandemic. Footballer and Arsenal won comfortably in a Europa League match against Rapid Vienna at Emirates Stadium on Thursday. Alexander Lacazette, Pablo Mari, Nketiah and substitute Emily Smith-Rowe put their names on the score sheet as Arsenal won the match 4-1. Arsenal tops the ground with 15 points with a win against Rapid Vienna. The Europa League match between Arsenal and Rapid Vienna was special as after 270 days, English top-flight football witnessed fans inside the stadium. The 2,000-odd fans were dispersed well to maintain physical distancing at the 60,000 capacity Emirates Stadium. Ahead of the kickoff, the fans paid tribute to health workers and COVID warriors battling the pandemic on the front lines. Gareth Bale and substitute Dele Alli both scored penalties for Spurs as the London side qualified from Group J despite being held to a 3-3 draw at the LASK. Tottenham must beat visitors Antwerp next week to claim top spot after the Belgians moved 2 points clear at the top with a 3-1 home victory over Bulgarian outfit Ludogorets. Tottenham boss Jose Mourinho questioned the attitude of some of his players as Spurs drew at last to progress to the Europa League knockout stages. Celtic lost a 2-goal lead to San Siro as AC Milan fought back to inflict the Scottish champions' fourth Europa League defeat in 5 games. Top seed Celtic, who have just 1 point from Group 5 Group H matches, have now won just twice in their last 11 games in all competitions. Celtic now have the worst defensive record in Europa League, conceding 17 in 5 matches. Milan have won their last 5 home matches against Celtic. Leicester's hopes of sealing top spot in Europa League Group G with a game to spare were dashed as Ukrainian side Zorya Luhansk grabbed a late winner. Italy will host the UEFA Nations League finals in October next year. The final and third place playoff will be on the 10th of October. The Nations League matches will be played at the Juventus Stadium in Turin and San Siro in Milan. Actor Kartik Aaryan notified his fans about his shoot for his upcoming movie Dhamaka. The shooting for the movie will begin from next week. Film actor, dancer and comedian Javed Jafri has turned 57 today. He starred in films like Meri Jung, Lashkar and Jawani Zindabad. Actor Aditya Roy Kapoor has begun shooting for his next action movie, Om, The Battle Within. The film will mark the directorial debut of Tinu Verma's son, Kapil. Filmmaker Ashutosh Guwarikar has roped in actress Kiara Advani for his next film, based on popular FMCG chain Lijjat Papad. Atarangi Ray team has shared its first glimpse. The film stars Akshay Kumar and Sara Ali Khan. Jim Parsons revealed that he auditioned for the sitcom The Office, which is a remake of the popular British TV series. American child actress Scarlett Estevez has turned 13 today. She's acted in Daddy's Home and The Grinch. Britney Spears' label has released her new song in honor of the superstar as she celebrated her 39th birthday this week. The song, Swimming in the Star, was originally a part of her album Glory. For the first time in music history, 197 musicians, one from each country, formed an orchestra, hoping to exemplify how people can transcend physical and cultural borders to come together. The Earth Orchestra's Strong Together is Beautiful was recorded in different locations, then mixed together, and a documentary telling the stories of some of the musicians will be released today. A handgun used by late Sean Connery in the first James Bond film has been sold for $256,000 at an auction in Beverly Hills. The auction has topped earlier estimates for the piece of Hollywood history. A helmet created for Tom Cruise in Top Gun has also sold at the auction at $108,000, while a sword used by Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction fetched $35,200. American rapper Sean Corey Carter, professionally known as Jay-Z, has turned 52 today. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential hip-hop artists in history. And that's all we have in Express News at the moment, but all the latest continues right here on DD India. Stay tuned.